We're going to put the video up on For the People Show as we present it to him and see what his reaction is. But he knows what one is and could really use one, but he'll be able to, check emails and peruse through the news and go ahead and type away and get a book going because, it gets a little lonely and boring, as you can imagine, when your mind, still works and he wants to still be engaged. So we want to give him something and we want to, make his day, so to speak. But all of us will be the better for it because we'd like something new from Chuck. So that'd be really cool to get something new, a book out from him. So this is an encouragement. This is a way we can do it. So if you'd like to, again, donate, go to forthepeopleshow.com. This is for Chuck Harder, who is in a nursing home in Gainesville, Florida, at Signature Nursing Home, and we're going to present him with an iPad. So if you want to take care of the whole thing, bada bing, bada boom, you're somebody that has the means to do it, that would be great. You could just make that full donation at forthepeopleshow.com or, give what you can give. But this will be great, and the sooner we can do this, the better. And yes, I will make sure as we present him, because it would only be fair, that we would give him another Five Guys burger. I mean, what could be better? An iPad Pro and a burger. Absolutely delicious. Were you a big fan of Michael Jackson? When I grew up, I was an 80s kid. I was born in 1970, but Off the Wall in Thriller, bar none, the best music. Brought back so many, just listening to Thriller just a moment ago. I just love the song. The performance, the performer, I mean, there was nobody like Michael Jackson. All the stories, unfortunately, especially in later years of his life with the children at Neverland Ranch, that seemed to put a unfortunate perspective of Michael Jackson that a lot of people, I think, didn't want to know about. He considered himself a man-child, and, he liked to be with little children, and, we are the world. We are the children. You remember Michael? Come on. I mean, I love the guy when he was singing, love the guy when he was dancing, but the guy lived a tortured life. Joe Jackson apparently beat the crap out of him. Probably kicked him, where, one too many times. We don't know. But he was abused. And his family used him. There's just no doubt about it. And still to this day, family's still trying to mooch off the royalties, off the money, and living off that. And it's no wonder Michael was so screwed up. Just the way that they treated him, raised him, very, very unfortunate. Well, the reason I'm talking about Michael Jackson, I'm not just reminiscing about Off the Wall and Thriller, is that a jury yesterday found that Michael Jackson's estate owes the producer who made Michael Jackson sound so wonderful off several different of his projects, Quincy Jones, awarded him $9.4 million. $9.4 million in royalties and production fees from Billie Jean, Thriller, and more of the superstar's biggest hits. That's right. This award came from the Los Angeles Supreme Court. Fell short of $30 million. The legendary producer sought in the lawsuit filed nearly 4 years ago. And this is the Superior Court, not the Supreme Court. The jury of 10 women and 2 men had been deliberating since Monday. So what Jones was claiming, Quincy Jones, in the lawsuit, that Jackson's estate and Sony Music Entertainment owed him for music he had produced that was used in the concert film This Is It. So if that makes any sense to you. That was the last deal. Of course, Michael Jackson was dead. And the lawsuit said that the entities had improperly re-edited the songs to deprive Jones of royalties and production fees, and that he had contractual rights to take first crack at any re-edit or remix of it. And under the deals, for example, Jones is entitled to a share of net receipts from video shows of the songs. The Jackson attorneys argued that the term was meant to apply to music videos and not future films. So Jones took the stand during the trial and was asked by Jackson's estate attorney, Howard Weltzman, whether he realized he was essentially suing Jackson himself. And you know what Jones angrily said? He disagreed. He says, "I'm not suing Michael," he said. "I'm suing you all." And the defense attorneys pointed out that Jackson's death in 2009 had already been lucrative for Jones, who made $8 million from his share of the works in the 2 years after the singer's death versus $3 million in the 2 years previous. "You don't deserve a raise," Weltzman says during a closing argument. "You can't have any more of Jackson's money." And Jones insisted that he was seeking his due for the work that he had done rather than merely just seeking money. Personally, I would rather Quincy Jones have most of the money than the Jackson family itself, just what they did to him, how he was treated, especially Joe Jackson. And I just don't see after all those years, certainly the mother had to know. And the brothers knew how they treated. Michael was the meal ticket, baby. He was the one. I mean, none of them really had. LaToya, she had her run. She did well. But besides her, Janet, okay. Who was more popular, LaToya or Janet Jackson, Miss Nasty? Didn't she go by? Yeah, Miss Nasty. Yeah, she made some money. But Michael Jackson was the meal ticket from all out of the family. Jermaine Jackson, remember that that album? He put out a couple albums. It was just awful. It was very, "How do you do what you did to me?" It was a sad 80s. I'm not a singer. Can you see why I'm on the radio? It was so painful. I remember the actual song. But Quincy Jones, again, awarded $9.4 million. And listen, if you're a producer and you're written in with that contract, man, you get royalties for life. And that's why they have attorneys and stuff like that. He just wanted to make sure that he was getting his dues. And basically what they write into these contracts is future performances. He wasn't stupid. His lawyers weren't stupid. They was just, they were trying to use trickery or play on words that were trying to get Jackson's estate more money and trying to deprive Quincy Jones of his due. And it was the principle, I believe, more for it and what was promised with Quincy Jones. And arguably, many people said that Michael Jackson would not have had the fame or acclaim, none of those things, without the help of the brilliance of Quincy Jones. He was a beautiful marketer, but as a producer, all those sound effects and all the mix downs of those songs, I mean, this stuff, if you listen to the Thriller album, even today, 30 years later, I mean, it sounds incredible. And not everything sounded so good. I mean, if you listen to stuff that was 30 years ago, listen to Off the Wall and that album there, how good it sounded. I mean, this man had amazing ears. He had great equipment, but, you can have the best equipment. I know people that have phenomenal studios out in Los Angeles, and they're not Quincy Jones, okay? They're wannabe Quincy Jones. The man knew electronics. He knew all the special effects generators. He used them sparingly, appropriately, and had impeccable timing. And it was just very, very special. So anyways, I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm waiting because apparently there's technology out where they can have Michael Jackson in hologram, where he comes out and Michael Jackson, this is it, where they can hologram Michael on the stage doing the moonwalk, doing the whole deal. And they could do this with Elvis Presley, where he comes out and does a show where you think that Elvis is right there doing all the moves. And they could do it with Frank Sinatra. I mean, you could break out Hollywood shows, Hollywood productions. People would come to see it. I mean, if it was lifelike like that and they did all their acts, did all their songs, I mean, they tape all this stuff, make it in hologram form. Wouldn't you come out? I mean, it would be pretty neat. It tricks the mind. You think that they're right there unless there's a short circuit and then they disappear and the laser's not working properly. But that would be cool. I'm waiting for that. That'll be neat. By the way, I don't know if you have a cat or a dog, but some people think dogs are smarter than cats. Well, you may want to guess again. Apparently, a cat had an intuition that something was about to take place, and I'm talking about the feline Baxter. The reason I'm talking about Baxter the cat is he's being hailed a hero today. He's a 6-year-old feline, and he's credited with saving the lives of a Philadelphia couple whose home collapsed early yesterday. It happened in West Philadelphia, and a couple was home about 4:45 a.m. when Baxter woke up this man who was asleep on the first-floor couch. The man woke up the woman who was upstairs when the row house made a loud cracking sound, and then they made a run for it. The scene after a row home partially collapsed in Philadelphia is a picture I'm looking at from Fox 29, but they go on with the story and say a few minutes later, a wall collapsed, sending a large amount of debris into a construction site next door, and 2 men walking into the area at the time of the incident was telling Fox 29 that they heard a loud cracking sound, then a big boom, and a woman screaming. When they arrived at home, the woman was holding onto a railing that was still attached to the gaping hole on the side of the home. And then the resident of collapsed home holds his cat on the roof of the standing portion of the Red Paul emergency relief team member rescued the cat on the second floor. But the cat is being held a hero because he warned his owner that something was about to happen, and they got out in the nick of time. They actually had to go in and get the cat. For some reason, I guess he got freaked out about all the antics and things going on around it. He ran back into the house to an open door, but then was rescued hours later before the home actually had to be demolished. But the resident of this collapsed home was holding his cat on the roof. It's just such an interesting shot. You got to look for it for yourself. It's pretty amazing. But this building in Philadelphia was known for a mural. It was painted on the side of a brick wall that collapsed, and the mural called "I Want to Call Your Names" is part of several dozen murals by artist Stephen Powers as part of the city's mural arts program. The cause of the collapse now being investigated, but officials were looking into ongoing construction next door as possibly playing a role in why this, as they put it, the row house actually collapsed. But the feline knew something was going on. You've heard of dogs doing it, but I've never heard of a cat. And, you know, they have the extra sense that some of us just don't have. We talk about common sense. Well, apparently, Felix knew. That's good for him. So extra vittles for him. Get him some Caesar or whatever. Well, Caesar's for dogs. That's what I give the small dog as a treat. But what do you give a cat for a treat? There's catnip. Yeah, you can give him. You know what? Forget about that. Catnip's good, but let's get him some nice Star-Kissed tuna, some Bumblebee white tuna. Come on, the best stuff. You know they're never going to forget that. But animals are very, very clever. By the way, I'm waiting for an email from a gentleman that has a dog that is looking for a home, and he's one of these guys, along with his wife, that for whatever reason, you may know people like this. Maybe you're one of them, and I'm not talking about the cat lady. I'm talking about the dog lady. Dogs find them. You know, when somebody kicks their dog to the curb, for some reason they end up on their porch. And they think they have a box terrier, and they're looking for a home for it. And he was telling me that that dog was going to make it to the blue juicing assembly line. The maximum is 13 days that they can hold the dog, and then they were going to put the dog down. Dog's healthy. But instead of juicing the dog, they brought the dog home, but they're trying to find a home for the dog. So I'm going to be getting more details. If I get a picture of the dog would be located in Tampa, Florida. So you'd have to come drive, get the dog, or fly down here and rent a car, you know, if you're looking for a dog. But we'll post a picture, name of the dog, weight, and all that good stuff, and the exact breed. I think it's a box terrier. But we'll put